So for our listeners who might not know you, how would you describe your sound, what you do? Who's Rachel White?
Who am I? Well, hello, listeners. It's very, very nice to be on here. Thank you so much for having me, Kyle. My name is Rachel White, and I'm a pop Scottish artist from obviously Scotland because I've just said that I'm Scottish. Um, yeah, I do pop music, but only really started releasing music in 2020, 2021. Originally, I trained in musical theatre, and currently I am Zoom calling you from Dubai, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Can you remember when you first realized your passion for music and performing? Was it music first or was it the
Uh-huh.
performing first?
To be honest, I kind of thought I was a dancer growing up because my
Mhm.
mom always put me into like ballet when I was like 3 or 4 years old, just to kind of keep me busy, I guess,
Yeah.
and keeping it up from mischief and things. But yeah, I always thought I was a dancer, and then it wasn't until I went to like a summer school, along with my good friend Bo Anderson, actually, who's also a Scottish
Right.
artist. We
Mm.
went to a summer school together, uh, and it was called Geet how very Scottish, which
Yeah.
was really fun. And I went to that, and we did like singing groups and things like that. And then I actually ended up winning like a competition to do Razzmatazz, which was then like
Yeah.
a theatre school every Saturday. So I ended up going to theatre school probably around, I think I was about 14 or 15 years old when I started doing that. And that obviously still did all dancing and things like that, but I kind of fell in love with being able to do all three. And then I went on to study at what was called the MGA Academy of Performing Arts, but is now called the Scottish Institute in 2013. Oh my gosh, it's so long ago now. So yeah, in 2013, and then I graduated in 2016. And before I went to MGA, I thought I was a dancer. And then at the end of MGA, I came out a singer. And I'd always had like a passion for writing music and
Mhm.
doing that, but never really knew how to go about it. And I was too scared at the time because I think I was only 17 when I joined MGA, so still very young. And I was too scared to move to London, as you would be at that
Yeah.
age, having
Totally.
just left school. I was like, oh no, like London's the big smoke. I don't want to go there. And then yeah, after I graduated MGA, I knew that Bo was also in London studying music, and she was like, you should come down, blah blah blah. And I got offered my first role in like a small UK tour, which was basically it was kind of like it was called Cirque Enchantment, and it was kind of like Alice in Wonderland vibes. So it was a
Hmm.
circus show. I am not a circus performer or artist. Cannot do. I can maybe do a strong cartwheel, but I cannot be doing anything else. um, so yeah, I did. I did this small circus UK tour, and I was a singer, and I basically had to act as a young girl because I'm actually only 5'2" for listeners listening. You can't obviously see me. I'm very small, and yeah, played a little girl in this little tour, and just kind of said, "Yeah, let's do it." And that kind of made me move to London because the rehearsals were there. So it was kind of like this moment of, okay, I need to move to London now. Let's do it. Let's see how we go. And yeah, moved to London in 20 2017. Yeah. So I would have been just 20 years old when I moved to London. And that was terrifying because I didn't know my flatmates. Like, I didn't know them when I moved into the flat. Um, I went via this Facebook page called The Hustle Homes. And it was just like a page for performers and artists and things like this that are moving houses and things like that. And yeah, it was really, really helpful. So I did live with three other creatives at the time. And gosh, back in 2017, I think my rent was only like 450 quid to live in London, which was
Yeah. Not now.
just for my little room. Definitely not now. Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about how much I was paying just before I left there. Wow. So yeah, I did that in 2017 into 2018, and the UK tour finished. And then basically, obviously, when you live in London, you have to work a million jobs just to be able to afford your rent, also like social life, your travel, everything else. So I ended up getting a job as an O2 angel, is what we were called. And it was basically still so I could like surround myself with music and kind of almost imagine what it would be like to perform at the O2 because I got to work there and I would see shows and we'd also do this kind of lovely thing where we'd surprise and delight guests as they come in and like give them tickets to like better seats and stuff. It was a lovely job, to be fair. It was really, really nice. And that helped me kind of pay the bills until I was then starting to get very, very tired of London and auditioning for lots of different things. Because I signed with an agent after I graduated musical theatre, and I signed with, because that's the dumb thing that you do when you study musical theatre, you sign with then an agent. And then, yeah, where did I do? Oh my gosh, I'm really honestly trying to like think back. It feels like it was so long ago now. After like being in London for a while and stuff like that, I was auditioning for lots of different things, and I came across a talent competition called Archer Street's Got Talent. And this is where I was like, right, okay, I'm going to try and do one of my own songs here. And this isn't like, we're talking, 2018, 2019, I think it was 2019 maybe. I don't know. It was either 2018 or 2019. They all seem to blur into one, to be honest. But I did this competition and I ended up coming second, which was really, really cool. And there was like, I think I got like 3 hours in a recording studio to like go and record my own music and stuff like that back then. Which was really cool. And actually, I don't actually think I ever got to use it. I think I got so busy with something else that I just ended up not using it, which is really, really like awful. But everything happens for a reason. I'm honestly such a true believer of like, your path is like made for you. Yeah. So to really try and not stress about that. Honestly, Kyle, you're going to have to shut me up. If I keep speaking, I'll just speak for the whole podcast. After Archer She's Got Talent, I then was getting really, really tired of living in London and kind of like, I don't know if you've ever lived in a city, you can understand like the hustle and bustle. You are having to graft to pay your bills.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
I was getting rejection. It doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stop. I was getting rejection after rejection after rejection, and auditions telling me I'm too small, I'm too like, or, oh, we just have someone just like that has, I don't know, blonder hair or brunette hair or whatever. So what I realised about the musical theatre industry, that it's very finical, and it made me kind of go, oh, like I'm really starting to lose my love for this. I don't really know what to do. I felt very, very lost. And that's when I auditioned for a cruise ship, which was Aida Cruises. And honestly, I remember sitting in a restaurant with my friend Nadia when I got the email telling me that I had the offer, and I genuinely cried because I was so happy to just be getting like an escape from London. And this was in 2019, so end of 2019, as you can see where I'm about to go with this. So 2019, went over to Hamburg. We had rehearsals over there, and it was all rock pop shows and stuff. It wasn't actually like any musical theatre stuff that I was doing. So I was like, this is amazing. I'm singing AC/DC. I'm singing like big pop artists that I really look up to an audience that don't understand a single word I'm saying because they're all German. But it was honestly one of the best things I think I'd done, because I just looked at my life on board and I was going, oh my gosh, all I had to do was 2 45-minute shows. I was getting paid so much more than I was in London, and my accommodation and my rent was all paid for. Then the pandemic hit, and that was in 2020. And on board, I actually became really, really good friends with one of the sound engineers on board. And it's crazy the amount of people that you meet working on a cruise. And yeah, I basically got really friendly with him, and he happened to own a small record label in Germany. And he was like, Rachel, your music's really amazing, because I'd had all these like voice note recordings or whatever of songs that I'd been writing and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you're really good. I think, like, why don't I help you put out your first single? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, let's do it. And this was all in 2020. And I think maybe there was like a newfound confidence I had within myself. I just went, whatever, I've not studied in music. I don't have a clue really, but let's just put it out. I had plenty of friends that were in music, so I could just ask them if for any kind of advice on like what to do. And I think that's always the best way to go, is if you don't know, to just ask, because genuinely, if someone's not gonna help you, then they're not a nice person. But also, I think that's just kind of how like I went about it. If you don't ask, you don't get. And I think it's always good to ask questions, especially when you're starting out. Where did I go now? Brain, come back to me. Yes, so in 2020 I put out my first single during COVID, because I just went, there's no time like the present, let's do it. Yeah. You know what, why not? Let's see what happens. And I actually ended up going down to London in the summer of 2020. It was when it was the Eat Out to Help Out vibe. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And I ended up rekindling like a friendship with one of my best mates, who's one of my best mates now, but he was in the year above me at college at MJ. and he was now like a filmographer and an actor and stuff like that, and he always had like a passion for shooting stuff. And I went, would you like to shoot a music video? And here we go. So we ended up, I paid him for it 100%, and we ended up doing like a small music video with like just me and him, like wandering about London. And it was dead as well because obviously there was nobody in London. It was like during kind of COVID times. Obviously, we're not breaking any COVID rules here. We were allowed to go for your daily walk, and that kind of became us shooting this music video. So yeah, then that happened, and then it was the second lockdown, and we basically ended up moving in together, me and Jack and our other flatmate Saz as well. We all moved in together, and then there was the second lockdown. And at this time, I was also working at a COVID test centre to kind of just like support myself because I'd moved back to London after this, after the first like ship contract was cut short. So I was working at a COVID test centre, and Jack was doing like basically nothing. He was just like at home because I think he was, what was it called? When you got your work were paying you and you were just sat at home?
Yeah.
Furlough. Oh my God, the word had just like disappeared from my brain now. So he was on furlough, and he was just at home like creating TikToks and just being wildly creative as he always is. And I had written a song called Over It, and it was a song that was kind of like about an ex that had really mugged me off. And I was like, do you know what? It started out by being a song that was like, oh, woe me, like you've moved on, like, and I haven't, and blah blah blah, and I'm not over it. And then me and Jack kind of sat down, and it was almost like he was like an artist manager at the time. He was like, do you really want that to be the vibe that you put out to people, like that, you know what I mean, like your following? Do you really want them to go, oh, woe you, oh, poor Rachel, blah blah blah, or do you want to put it out as in like, no, do you know what, I'm stronger than this, and I'm the one that's over it, blah blah blah. So we ended up like in a rewriting the lyrics, and then we came up with this crazy idea of a music video, and we're like, let's do this will be amazing. You can go through a washing machine and you can come out the other end and it'll be like Alice in Wonderland. And I was like, oh, amazing, like let's just do it. And at that time, like also we had so much more like time for things because it was, you were in a lockdown, so your brain's going a million miles an hour. So yeah, we did that, and that came out in, when was that, 2022? No, 2021. The music video came out in March 2021 along with the single. And that's when I was approached by Cammy Barnes, who is also a very big artist in Scotland at the moment, or he is now known as Cameron Barnes or Cammy Barnes. But at the time he was just Cameron Barnes, which was obviously his name. And he messaged me on Instagram because he'd seen a clip of my music video, and he was like, do you want to have a writing session? Would be great to work with you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, of course, would love to write with you. Like, I was like this wee girl that's like obviously just put out a music video, no management, not signed to anybody. I had like a musical theatre agent, but they weren't doing anything for me music wise. They were just very like supportive of the fact that I was doing it. And I went to, because he's from Methil and I'm originally based in Kinross, and so when I was home in Scotland we ended up meeting up and having like a writing session, and he was like, so who are you signed with? And I was like, nobody. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, it's just me. He was just like, oh, amazing. He was just like, so would you want to come on tour with me then? And I was like, yes, absolutely, would love to come on tour with you. So we ended up doing, like, he played Aberdeen and Edinburgh, and it was only Aberdeen and Edinburgh, so it's not really a tour. It's just those two. It's a tour because obviously it's two destinations. But it's the first time I'd ever like played any of my music to anybody, and this was like the end of 2021. But something else had also like happened that year. I basically ended up having like a bit of a health scare towards the end of 2021. I went into hospital with a ruptured appendix, which I know doesn't sound like too serious, but actually you can die. Yeah. And I didn't know this either until after, and the doctor was like, yeah, Rachel, you're pretty lucky to be here right now, to be honest. Like, you've been, in hospital for 5 days, and it had ruptured by the time that they went to go do the surgery on me. So that was a wild experience. This was in 2021. Yeah. And of course, you're having all these other life experiences before all that as well. I dated another boy, and he was also a musician, and there was all these like other thoughts going on about being in London and everything else. Went in with a ruptured appendix, and the boy that I'd written Over It about had texted me to be like, oh, I heard you had like a little trip to the hospital. And I was like, why are you acting like you care, like blah blah blah, that kind of vibe. And so my sense of like self-worth was really, really low at that time as well. And obviously, when you have I don't want to call it a near death experience, but when you have like when you go to
Yeah.
hospital and you have one of those moments of like, what am I doing in my life? And you like re-question everything.
Mm.
And I think I was 25. Yeah, I was 25 when I went into to the hospital with that. And then I just started saying yes to everything after that because I was like, I'm just going whatever's going to come my way, I'm just going to say yes. Like, why not? Like, life is short. I need to really just seize the moment. And after that, I basically said yes to a reality dating show. No, to be fair, it was a good experience. I think it's like one of those things I could just go like I've ticked that off the list, like
Mm.
whatever. And my friend Craig, basically, my friend from London, he used to put me forward for all of these like kind of stupid shows because he was like, yeah, but Rachel, it'll help with your music, it'll help with your following, blah blah,
Yeah,
this, that,
get
and the
your
next
name out
thing. And
there.
who knows, you'll meet the love of your life. And I was like, I'm not going to meet the love of my life on this, but yeah, like why not? Let's do it. So I just went along with it and saw like and thought like, oh, let's see how far I can go with,
Mhm.
the interviews that you have to do beforehand. And there I was at the end of 2021, not long after my appendicitis, not long having just done a tour with Cami, checking in to a cabin in the woods, which was called The Cabins, and the TV show was called The Cabins, it was on ITV2. And honestly, to be fair, I was very nervous for this TV show, but we did that. That was an experience. I was paired with an Elvis impersonator or an Elvis like super fan, Freddie. He was lovely, but obviously not my type because I think they have like a storyline for it, don't they? They kind of say like, "Oh, so you're a singer songwriter. Like, would you like to find love like
Mhm.
Elvis and Priscilla?" And I was like, "Well, of course." So they
Mhm.
paired me with the obvious and the Elvis
Elvis.
impersonator. So it made yeah. Well, yeah, quite literally. I wish it was the real Elvis, to be honest, but um, no, it was a good laugh, and I think as well, like, I came out of that TV show with like again more experiences to then write about and things like this, and that aired in the January of the 2022, and at that time I was like business head on. I've just written an EP that I'm wanting to release, so it went hand in hand that I ended up then releasing a single in the January that came out like 2 days I think after the first episode had aired. So I was like, this is brilliant because I now have a lot of
Mhm.
engagement and a lot of people thought that the song I'd written about, full disclosure here, the song I'd written or had released in that January was not obviously about Elvis. It was about
Yeah.
a guy that I'd seen in the summer before my whole appendicitis thing. So, but that came out, and I then also got to sing it like live on the reunion show and stuff like that as well, which was really, really cool. Um, and what year are we in now? Are you keeping up? Because I don't know if I'm even keeping up. Uh,
22,
oh,
23?
2022.
Yeah.
2022, 23. Here we go. So I released a whole EP, and at that time as well in London, I was also then still auditioning for lots of other things, like because obviously I was still signed with a musical theatre agent, and I've always kind of had the two things like running
Yeah.
side by side because a lot of I don't know people. I feel like a lot of people in the UK will pigeonhole you
Yeah.
quite easily. They'll go, do you know what I mean? Like, okay, so what are you? Are you a musician? Are you an actor? Are you a musical theatre performer? And which one are you? They kind of don't give you the option to be whatever it is you want to
Mhm.
be. And every time I've been over to the States, they've always been like,
Oh, you do
amazing. Oh my
everything.
God. So
Yeah.
you could do this. They do everything and they crisscross all over, which I think
Mhm.
is something as well that I've tried to say to myself that like, do you know what I mean? If I have a passion for it, why would I stop myself
Mhm.
from doing that? You know what I mean? Um, so you just life short. You have to like do these things. So obviously, I'm not telling everybody to go and sign up for a reality dating show because that was an experience in itself. Um,
I can imagine.
uh, my gosh, like yeah, really. Um, right, okay, where did I get to? Yeah, released this EP and it was doing really, really well. And Janice Forsyth had picked it up and she's playing it as like single of the week on BBC Radio Scotland. It was really kicking off and things were going really well. And I still at this point have no management, no label, just me literally doing it. So I was pure buzzing. I was like, this is amazing. Okay. And then I suddenly put all this pressure on myself and I went, I need to put out the next song. And I haven't written anything. I've not been into sessions. I've been so busy trying to work a million jobs in London that I've not actually had the time to work on my craft. And here I am now with like 10,500 monthly listeners and I have no music to put out. And I was like, what am I doing? And so then I suddenly, I don't know, again, I was really, really hard on myself and I not had like a mental breakdown, but just had a bit of a moment of like, okay, I'll put the next song out, like this, let's see what happens. And it came to 2023. I'd kind of like taken a bit of a break from music, and I actually ended up going to therapy, which I would highly recommend. Everybody does if they, one, have the money or the time to do it. I was very lucky that ITV2, because of it was the same production company, this reality TV show. So maybe do go and sign up for a reality show because you get free therapy out of it. I don't know. But I basically got therapy paid for by them, which was amazing, and it was incredible. Like 12 sessions I think I had, and it really just helped me like work through a lot of like childhood things, anything else I needed to let go of, like pressures, all the kind of stuff that I think you would discuss in therapy anyway. So went to that, and then we're now into January 2023, and this is where things get wild. I'd also done the Fringe Festival and things like this in between, because also I think the Fringe is a very good place to be, you know, putting yourself out there, putting your music out there, working and being in around a lot of different creatives. Right, so January 2023. This is like wild. This story, you couldn't write it. But my sister, she was on holiday in 2022. She was on holiday in New York, and she's a police officer. Shout out to the police, well done, they did an amazing job. I couldn't do it. But they were on holiday in New York, and they ended up sitting in this place called the Stardust Diner. And I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but it's basically like a diner where a lot of Broadway stars all get up and they sing as they're like serving you food and stuff. It's like people that are not in work at the moment. It's a bit like Archer Street, which is also like a bar in London where all the West End performers and stuff, but it's in New York. So they were there, and they were basically sat, like, the tables are quite confined. New York's obviously like London, it's very busy, and this dad and daughter basically heard the Scottish accent, and Americans love the Scottish accent for some reason, which is crazy to me. And they basically were like, oh, like, where are you from, blah blah blah, what do you do? The conversation sparked, and obviously they were like, oh, we're police officers in London, what do you do? And the dad turned around and was like, oh, I'm actually like a talent scout. And of course my sister went, ding ding ding, I wonder if you'd like my little sister, like she's a singer in London, blah blah blah. And of course Americans, again, being so open-minded a lot of the time, let's not talk about politics, but a lot of the time, he was basically like, okay, so here's my email address, get her to drop me through a demo and I'll see what I can do for her. And of course I sent, I think, maybe 2 emails and didn't hear anything back. And then sent a third email, and I just ended up bullshitting, basically. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear or not. I don't know if you can beep it out.
I'm going to go for it.
Fine. And I just said, hey, I'm going to be in Los Angeles in January. Would love to meet you. Have you had any advice for a young aspiring actor / singer? Now, I've not mentioned who this man is yet because it was wild. Basically, he turned out to be the head of casting at Disney Animation in Los Angeles. And wild, right? And I've always, I don't know if you believe in like manifestation or anything like this, or vision boards and having like your goals in front of you and stuff. I've had a vision board for maybe like 10 plus years now, and on there has been Disney Animation. And I've never known how to get into that. 1, I studied musical theatre in Scotland, in Edinburgh. 2, I'm doing pop music. I've not done any voiceover work in my entire life. And here my sister just happens to be sat next to the head of Disney or whatever in this, this diner in New York. Like, the timing was just like, I have to meet this man. So I ended up bullshitting and saying, I'm going to be in LA. Was I going to be in LA? Absolutely not. Had I booked a flight? No, I hadn't. And I basically got a response, and he was like, would love to meet you, of course. Let us know the dates that you're here. And I was like, fantastic. I now need to go to LA. Oh my God. So I took a whim and I booked a flight, and I was going to book Friday the 13th because that was a date that I was looking at going. And I was like, no, I can't go on Friday the 13th. I'll go on the Saturday because I don't know. I just felt weird about it. And I'm so glad that I booked that flight, because when I got on the flight, this is when I think that things just like aligned. I got on the flight, and 3 rows behind me, Sam Ryder was 3 rows behind me on this flight to LA. And I was like, oh my God, Sam Ryder. Oh my God, I need to say hi to him. What the hell? And then also I had I plucked up the courage maybe like 5 hours into the flight. It's a very long flight, but I was very nervous to speak to him, even though he's just a human. But you know what I mean? He was like, I think the most famous person I'd like come into actual contact with
Yeah.
at that point. Whew. And basically, out the corner of my eye, before we taken off, I saw my friend that I used to work with in that COVID test centre that I was talking about in 2020. Remember I said,
Yeah.
right? So he basically was now a flight attendant, and he came over to me and he was like, "Oh my God, babes, what are you doing here? What are you doing out, like getting on this flight to LA?" And I was like, "Oh, like I'm going over to do some music bits, and I also have this like crazy meeting or whatever with Disney." And he was just like, "No way, that's like amazing, that's so exciting." And he was like, "We'll have to go for a night out in West Hollywood." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, like that sounds amazing," because I'm actually like, I don't know anybody over here. I'm going over to visit a friend that I had one friend that's from Oklahoma that was traveling over to be with me for this first 6 days, who was a friend that I actually met on my first cruise contract as well. So again, things all like lining up, like your path is written for you. So I met him for the first 6 days, and then the last 6 days I was working on music bits that Cami had actually put me in touch with people that he'd worked with out over there, and then on my last day I had this meeting with Disney, and I thought that we were going to be talking about music, and I'd like mentioned that like I'd prepared like 4 or 5 like Disney-esque style of songs. I was like, I studied the musical theatre, I could write a Disney song, this is fine. And when I say I was literally in the animation studios like 10 minutes before me was Bill. Oh my God, what's his name? That's going to be so embarrassed that I can't remember his name. The voice of Mike Wazowski. Bill.
Yeah.
Bill Knight. Is it Bill Knight?
Bill Nye?
I think it's Bill Knight. I think so. Oh my God, that's horrible because he's a huge actor. Anyway, I'm really bad with names. Yeah, so he was in the studio like 10 minutes before me. I didn't get to meet him, but as you can imagine, I was like freaking out because I was like, I'm in LA for the first time. Oh my God, they're actually in the physical studios. He took me up to his office and we like sat down, and I had my laptop all prepared. I was ready to show him all these songs. And then he turned around and he went, "So when is it you're leaving?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm actually leaving tomorrow." And he went, "Oh, that's such a shame." And I was like, "Well, why?" And he was just like, "Because when you emailed us in December, we were actually looking for like an authentic Scottish accent for a pilot that we've been writing." And I was like, I mean, I can change my flight. Now, he said, no, like we don't rush anything here at Disney. When I say I'd used like all my money as well to pay for this flight, like I was so skint. Yeah, and here's me being like, yeah, I can change my flight. Not at all. And then 10 minutes before I went into this meeting, my flight attendant friend had texted me to be like, "Hey, I've got the dates wrong. I'm actually not going to be in West Hollywood, by the way, with the time that you're here. But why don't I fly you back with me on like a friends and family like discount or whatever that they do, and you can come back out with me in February." And I was like, "Okay, amazing." And then I was in this meeting and I went, "I actually think I'm coming back next month." And he went, "All right, okay, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get you some sides over and we'll get my assistant to sort everything out and we'll fly you back over and you can come back and audition or whatever. Well, not going to fly you back over, but you can come back and audition in February then. Just let us know the dates you're here." So in February of 2023, I flew back to LA first class for 2 nights to audition for Disney Animation. I think it was £150, I think my flight cost me or something as well. And that was a moment where I was there pinching myself and going, holy moly, how have I ended up here? And that is where the inspiration for Trust, which was actually, Trust is my most recent single. It came out in 2023, but it's the last single I actually put out. But that song came from that because as soon as I got back to London, my flat tenancy had like fallen through. There was a boy that was like murdered down the road from me where I lived. Like I was then back to working like 600 different jobs just to afford to live there. And I just went into like this from this massive high to this proper like, oof, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And then as 2023 went on, sorry, I'll go quicker because I've taken up a lot of time.
No, it's okay.
As 2023 went on, I basically started to feel really, really sad, like living in London again. And I was just like, right, okay, when was I happiest again? And I started auditioning for cruises again because I was like, I could save money, my food and accommodation is paid for, and I bet it'll be like a little 5-month break from London. That's not going to do me any harm. And then I was offered AIDA Perla, which was the last cruise contract I just did, for 5 months last year, and that was from May until October. And it gave me enough time to like move everything back to my mum's house, to save money, to go back to LA to visit Disney again, to like audition again and keep that connection there, write more music. Have basically, my plan at the moment is I have a backlog of music because I'm never going to put the pressure on myself again where I don't have anything else ready to put out.
Yeah.
So I've created this backlog of music, and I just have taken like a year and a half break until I like release some more music. And I guess it's a journey though, to finding your sound, to finding where it is you want to go and stuff like this. And actually, do you know what? It's so funny we're having this conversation just now, because really the past like 3 or 4 days I'm on a second contract now with Aida, and I'm out in Dubai, and it's been amazing because I've been able to like reach out to people out here. I have a friend that used to live in London that now lives in Dubai, and I'm potentially going to write with him whilst I'm here and things too. So like,
Right.
it is amazing that it's given me the opportunity to write in person out in all these different countries, but also the Zoom connection is pretty
Yeah.
decent, considering right now I'm currently in the middle of the sea just off the coast of Muscat. That's
All right.
literally where I am, and the connection obviously is like pretty good. So it's been good to be able to do Zoom sessions and prepare as much as I can in terms of releasing more for this year. But yeah, like I said, the last couple of days, I've there's been moments of like doubt in my mind where I'm going, what am I doing back on the ship again, or am I on the right path? And then I actually just posted this TikTok, I think yesterday, where I was like, actually I need to focus more about like just living presently, because obviously I only had this little health scare. It was the appendicitis, whatever. But no one actually is ever promised tomorrow. And it just takes sometimes like these little like moments of reminder to go, if I can make any day, like each day, like a good day, or
Yeah.
like make someone else smile, even if I'm not feeling the best. And if I'm not feeling the best as well, like that's okay. That's okay to have like an off day. That you do have the next day. So you do have the next day to look forward to. Obviously, I just said that not everyone's promised tomorrow. It's not in a morbid way. It's more of just a way of going, you just have to live genuinely each day and try and be as happy as you can each day and see the good in each day and not to worry too far ahead in the future. I also think as well, because my 30s are creeping around the corner, that's just like a little bit of a panic when you're going, oh my God, my life's going to end at 30. But it's not like 100%. It's just going to be, what do you call it? A moment of realization that everyone's on their own path, and you know, like what is for you, I genuinely believe what is for you is not going to go by you. And I think the whole trip to LA made me realize that for sure. The fact that actually I'm on this contract here, and I've just rekindled a relationship with a stepsister of mine who I've not seen since 2018, but she now just happens to live in Dubai and saw my Instagram post and was like, oh my God, I have to see you. I've not seen you for so long. And like, that's what I mean. I think everything is like aligned, and if you just keep working on your craft and things that make you happy, music that makes you happy, like not following a particular sound that's current today. I think you need to stay authentic to you and your own music, and what you're creating. As long as you're happy with it, it shouldn't matter what anyone else thinks. There you go. I've stopped speaking now. I can breathe.
That was great. That really covered like 90% of the questions. Which, yeah. So, where would you say your creative passions lie? Like, where would you say your biggest inspiration for all of it is? Because even it's not just music and performing. Like, your TikToks and social medias are pretty big and well followed. Where does your inspiration come from?
Where does the inspiration come from? Wow. Whew, what do you mean, my day in the life? That kind of thing. I've been,
Yeah.
that to be fair, that kind of sparked from being away from home and being away from family. And I was just like, I'd like to be able to show my mum and dad like what it is kind of like to live on a ship. And my sister as well. My sister's just had a little baby. She's just had her first boy. So now I'm officially an auntie, which also makes me feel extremely old, but that's okay. And to be honest, yeah, I just kind of started doing a day in the life, and a lot of them started to get a bit of attraction, and I was just like, oh, maybe I should just keep going with it. And I think people are quite interested to yeah, and here we are, and to see what it is like to live in a cruise ship, because as you could see from behind me, I'm in my cabin at the moment. I'm not going to show you it because it's a tip. uh, I need to fold my clothes away. But yeah, I don't have a window in here, so
Mm.
I'm on deck two at the moment. On It's not like I'm living in below deck and like people think that it's absolutely horrific, but I'm only on here for I actually only have like 3.5 months left. And in the last 5 weeks, we are very, very lucky as singers on board that we get to move to passenger cabins. And it's a brilliant time because then you're in the swing of the shows. You actually have quite a lot of downtime, which I think as well, like I said to you earlier, it's given me the time to be creative. And I'm very, very lucky with this company, but they actually allow me to say, allow me. They, yeah, they allow me to perform my own music on here as well. So, um, I will be debuting some new music on here on April 3rd is when I have my solo show in the Teatrium. So it's like 1,500 seater
That's
venue.
exciting.
I know it sounds ridiculous. It is very exciting. Obviously, these Germans, because it's normally Germans we have on the ship,
Mm.
will not have a Scooby who I am. Because unless they've been to Scotland or unless they followed me from
Mm.
socials, then yeah, I think it's a really scary thing to debut your music when you don't really know that you're going to have that connection one with the audience. They don't know who you are, where you come from, or yeah, it's you're throwing music out there to an audience that doesn't speak the same language either. And I did do a solo show on the last contract I did, and it went down amazingly, which was really, really good. Um, but yeah, I guess it's a good tester for me to be like, oh, I
Yeah.
wonder if they'll enjoy it. And to be fair, my streams in Germany definitely have like they've lifted a lot, which is really nice. More of my streams come from Germany than they do the UK now, which is
All right.
wild to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that is a question I was going to ask, what it's like living on the cruise ship, because I remember around about COVID, I loved traveling, wanted to get away, and I hated being locked down. So I looked at cruise ship jobs,
Hmm.
more being like a fitness instructor and whatnot. And it has always been a wonder,
Uh-huh.
what's it like on the boat?
I think to be fair, I think it's an amazing lifestyle. I can see how addictive and comfortable it could also become as well.
Mm.
One, because you're not paying for your food and you're not paying for your accommodation. And I don't know any other job really that, in the UK where you're not paying some sort of bill. I'm
Yeah.
like I have no outgoings other than the money that I'm going to spend on my music, which I'm in production. Um, and today I think I've been bamboozled today because I did buy a cashmere scarf and it was nearly €100, and it was because I
Mm.
didn't know what the exchange rate was, so I think I was bamboozled. Um, but yeah, these are the kind of things. You asked me how it is to live in a cruise ship. Let's get back to the question. Um, Amazing. As well as a vocalist on board, we are treated very, very lovely. I have my mum coming out here, and she's like she gets a family and friend discount as well, which is amazing. So she's going to be coming out here for 7 days on like you can't even imagine how cheap it was for her to come all the way to the other side of the world. Like these experiences, the places that you see, the people that you then become like family with.
Mm.
It's the cast, especially like my last contract. I'm still in touch with like my last contract I did. Half of my cast were from Brazil, and honestly, I became so close with them. And I don't know, I'd never met anyone from Brazil before until I did this contract. And the nicest people, the most welcoming, the most authentic people as well, I think I've ever met in my life because they just don't care about
Mm.
anyone else and what anyone else thinks. And it's inspiring. It's honestly inspiring. And to the point where I thought over New Year, one of my M2, so we all have like vocal positions, and I'm
Mhm.
F2, and he's M2. His name is Cabral, and he tempted me. It was really funny. We went for lunch in Hamburg. It was like the last week of us being on board. He asked me how it was to live in a cruise ship, and here I am on a tangent.
Yeah.
Cabral said, "Why don't you come to New Year, to Brazil for New Year, and like spend New Year with us? I think it would be something different." And I was just like, "Oh, I don't know. Like Brazil, it's so far. It's South
Mm.
America, right? That's
Yeah.
really far." And here, and I mean, as far as like Los Angeles, it's the same like time wise on a flight, but somehow you don't think that Los Angeles is that
Yeah.
far. But South America is really far. And so I just went, do you know what? When else am I in my life am I going to get the opportunity to go and see their home country with locals and spend New Year with them?
Yeah.
And so I went and I booked really spontaneously the cheapest flights that I could find to go to Brazil for 2 weeks over New Year, and I it's become a joke now on this ship because everybody has said like, "Oh, did you go to Brazil, Rachel? Did you go to Brazil?" Because I genuinely have not stopped talking about it and how amazing it is. And there's a couple of Brazilians that are in this cast as well, so I'm trying to learn Portuguese and like speak to them because I I have never met such kind people. It's honestly incredible. But like I said, living on a cruise ship, you get to meet so many amazing
Yeah.
cultures, so many different people. You get to visit so many amazing places, and when you're a vocalist, it's a very good lifestyle. I think if you work in any other department, your hours are certainly longer. And I think there's even some departments that I know like don't even get the time to get off the ship because they're so busy. Like if you work as a bartender, for example,
Yeah.
you are constantly going to be on like a 12-hour shift.
Mhm.
Whereas we will do our shows in the evening, which is normally from about, we'll maybe go backstage for 4:30. We'll have dinner, which I know is so crazy early to have dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then you'll be backstage to do your hair and makeup and everything by like about 5:15. And then you'll do your two 45-minute shows. And then you'll be in bed maybe midnight, 1 o'clock, because I don't know about you, but after a show, I'm normally like
Yeah, you
quite
need.
high on adrenaline.
Mhm.
Hmm. And then if you want to see a destination, like so for example on this cruise, I'm going to be going to Mauritius, and I've never seen Mauritius in my life.
Nice.
Cape Town as well.
Mhm.
So I will be making sure that I'm getting up and just having a nap in the afternoon because I definitely want to make the most of seeing these destinations and stuff. I have a feeling that you're going to have to cut a lot of like different bits, Kyle,
No,
otherwise
this
this
is
could be your
great.
longest
This is
episode
great.
ever.
Um,
But yeah, did I answer the question? Or have I gone
yeah,
off on a
no,
tangent? I think I answered the question.
you're definitely selling it for me. Um, so beyond the music and performing, what would you say your other passions are? Because obviously you seem like a creative person entirely. Um, so do you have any other passions or anything that really influences so you've got the balance in life, or is it just constant creation?
Concentration. My other passions. Oh my gosh, I really like sunbathing, but that really ties well into ties well to working on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Um, and I have never been happiest when I've had a coconut water and I'm on the beach. Like that is
Yeah,
that.
no,
Oh,
life
happiest
doesn't
doing
get much
that.
better.
Life doesn't get better than that. But yeah, no, no, I don't think. I think I'm just very, yeah. Vlogging has now become a very big passion of mine. I've also set on my manifestation goal that by the end of this year, I'd love most of my income to be from music and from socials because I've had a few brands that have like got in touch now and been like, oh, can you maybe put this in a video and things like this? And I'm only really going to choose brands that I 100% like
Yeah.
believe in and stuff. But I had no idea about how much money you could make as a an influencer. I'm doing inverted commas by
Yeah.
the way if you're just listening. Influencer because I don't think of myself as an influencer at all. I just am posting the content that I enjoy
That
and
you're
would like to
interested in.
share,
Yeah.
and my mum is gonna love. It's basically just for my mum.
Mom friendly content.
Um, yeah, mum friendly content, for sure. And yeah, music always. I feel like songwriting though is like a form of therapy for me. I know it
Mhm.
sounds so wanky to say, but it genuinely is. Yeah.
So from our previous episode, there's something I'd like to try and keep going.
Uh-huh.
The advice that they gave was don't be afraid to express yourself, which I kind of feel ties in pretty well to
Hmm.
creative, and a lot of your songs seem to be self-expression. So what's one piece of advice that you'd pass on to someone? Totally anonymous, but just something that you hold on to, like your personal advice, the thing you tell yourself when you get up in the morning or before you perform. What's your one
Oh,
rule to live by?
be grateful. I'd
Hmm.
say be grateful and no day or every day above ground is a good day. So I would say that like even if you have, I'm gonna say shit, Even if you have a shit
Mhm.
day, it's still a good day because you're alive. And I know that sounds like really cheesy, but like, yeah, I think being grateful for your health and your in your day. Like I
Mhm.
normally, if I actually, that's another thing I should say that I do. I journal quite a lot.
All right.
Um, and in my journal, I will. This is my journal here, rise and shine, Pierre. Um, and I journal most days. If
Mhm.
it's not before going to bed and just thinking about three things that I was grateful for that happened in that day, it's waking up first thing in the morning and going, okay, what am I grateful for today? Be grateful and take each day. I have that in my bio on my Instagram now because it became a thing in my last contract that I just said, I need to stop worrying so much about the future. Just take each day because you can be so wrapped up on thinking about 4 or 5 years ahead. And
Mhm.
then before you know it, those 4 or 5 years are
Ah, here.
happening.
Yeah.
And you've not, yeah, and you're not even like, okay, what am I doing today? Like, let's focus on just today. And yeah, be grateful for today and live presently. As hard as that is to do in our generation, live
Yeah.
presently.
So finally, where can people find your music? Where can people connect? Is there anything big you've got coming up that you want people to look out for? Even if it's an exclusive
Oh,
and you just say, watch out for the date on social media, is there anything?
I'd say definitely watch out for the day on social media because it will be posting some new, no, posting, I will be releasing some new music in the summer. I haven't set a date yet, but it is probably going to be May, June time because I have a very hot girl summer song coming.
Look
Um,
forward to hearing it.
hot girl, they, them, boy, whatever you want to be. Uh, it is, yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I wrote it in LA last year. You can find me on any streaming platform. I have a bunch of music videos that need more views as well. um, TikTok, Instagram. This is Rachel White, and yeah, Spotify is just Rachel White as well. And I'm not the country singer because there is an American country singer as well called Rachel White.
Yeah, I
That is
noticed
not
that.
me. But yeah, you can go find me on any streaming platform, and if you've liked listening to me today being cheesy and wild, then you'll love my music.
Thank you. That was great. Yeah, that
Oh, thank you.
um,
Thank you so much for having me.
honestly made my life so much easier because there's a lot of people you need to drag questions out of, and it's nice just someone
Oh,
who
really?
chats and wants to chat.
I
But no, that was
sometimes
brilliant.
chat, I
Thank you.
think, a little bit too much.
No, not at all.
I know
Not
it's
at
lovely
all.
to meet you. I look forward to hearing the episode, and honestly, feel free to cut a lot of the stuff I've said because I think I don't think I have what's it called. I'm self-diagnosing myself with ADHD because I definitely do often like a little tangent, but I just get overexcited. I think that's all it is. It's a bit of
That's a good
maybe
thing.
it's
You should
golden
be.
retriever ADHD instead, if that's a
Send me
thing.
any links you want, and I'll tag them all below in the
Hmm.
clip. Thank you. I look forward to hearing
Amazing.
stuff, and hopefully we can do more in future.
Yes,
When back in
100%. Anytime.
Scotland with, massive studio, if you want to film stuff, record stuff, that's what we're here for.
Oh, amazing.
Even music
Yeah,
videos.
that'd be amazing.
We've got full film studios,
Oh,
so
unreal. I'm not back until, oh my God, amazing. I'm not back till, I've actually just been confirmed to go into Aida Perla, which is the other ship that I was just working on because half of, like, most of my cast went back to that one and I got put on Ida Prima with like three other cast members or something. And my boyfriend's working on Aida Perla, so he is also from Brazil, which is
mm,
very very hard. But
yeah,
yeah, I'll see him for 2 weeks, and then I'll be back in Scotland in July, and I should be in Scotland for the foreseeable, I think, after this. So it should be really nice to be back home, fresh and ready with all my new music. Fingers
but
crossed
yeah.
for
So
summer sessions as well. Oh my God, I completely missed out the fact that I performed on CBBC. I did that in 2022. No, and I did a single, my live TV debut within 48 hours notice on CBBC. That's also a very interesting story that completely forgot about. But that's okay. There's
yeah,
always room for that another time.
yeah, no, definitely.
It's been really good to meet you.
Amazing. Hope you have a great rest of the trip.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm just going to go for an ice cream now. That's my plan.